festival without a talk is not a festival.
Yeah, true. We have to talk.
Yes. So I thought, because I know Hans for quite many years, and I've been observing his work, and also a lot of things that we talked about. We keep on thinking about what's the identity of Malaysian music or Malaysian jazz. So today we prepared this talk. We're just going to have a conversation, but we open to the floor as well. If you have anything that you would like to contribute, or if you have anything you would like to raise questions, we will be happy, more than happy, to address those issues. So first, the title of the talk.
So today's talk is, see, I can memorize things. It's called Irama and Lagu in Search for a Malaysian Identity in Jazz.
Very big topic, sounds very serious. But it's actually a question we have been asking ourselves.
Every single day when we wake up.
Yes, many years. So, just go back to 2020 November. Anybody remember what happened in 2020? Especially that period of time.
I remember nothing for 3 years.
I thought you were making all these like roti make bread make pasta and all that. At least I was making pasta.
You were making pasta?
I was making pasta. And
wow.
And it was good. No joke.
I trust you.
Yeah.
Always trust the festival curator director.
So November 2020, we did a online streaming concert here at the factory floor in Royal Selangor. So we are very grateful for the support and association with Royal Selangor. And what's more Malaysia and what's more Kuala Lumpur as a brand, as Royal Selangor, of course, Team Mining started this whole town. So I thought, with this very Malaysian identity, if we can do something here, it will be quite nice. So I've been eyeing this space for a long time. Then during the pandemic, I had the privilege to kind of get to know Dr. Ridley, and I brought up this idea, why don't we do something, some music performance in this space? And he said, sure, let's do it. But the first one, we kind of like show hand. You know, if you watch those gambling movies, they say silent, show hand, everything go up. So that first one that we did, it was a 12-hour Malaysian Jazz Marathon, featuring 18 bands, one after another. And it was kind of like the music community come together. It's like Voltron, and everybody like contribute. So we had the technical team, we had the backline supplier, sound system, and all the musicians to come together. I still really remember vividly. So at that time it was still locked down, of course. Everybody wearing masks. But when we are drinking, of course, enjoying the drink, so we get to see each other's faces, and we get to say hi, and we get to use our music to speak to the world. And at the same time, it was for a very, I think, a noble cause. It was for the Malaysian Real Book project. So a little bit about the Malaysian Real Book project. Again, it's about Malaysian music. The identity of that is that I myself, when I was really into studying music, I know a lot about Western music. I really know the lives of John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Bill Evans, the Beatles, how they form, how they do, what year they did what album came after what album. But if someone asked me, can you play a whole set of Malaysian music, I only have maybe like 5 songs. So I feel a bit awkward and also embarrassed to admit that. And talking to my fellow musicians, Malaysian musicians, a lot of them perhaps have the same kind of predicament like me, that we don't really know much about Malaysian music. And if we ourselves, Malaysian musicians, don't know about Malaysian music, how can others know it? How can we do our job in introducing the music to others? So the Malaysian Real Book was because of that idea. So we try to collect 241 songs and make this book a playable book so that people can actually play the music and make it their own. So music can become alive rather than just recording only. So that's the whole idea. And from there, then we started to do all these Sunday afternoon concerts in this space. And then now we are 2024 and we are doing the first Royal Selangor Jazz Festival, which I think I would really like to thank Royal Selangor for taking on this project and really helping the music community. That guy is over there. Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. So that brought us to our first question. How do you define Malaysian jazz?
I think this is something that's very difficult because the thing is, in a way it's difficult, in a way it's easier as well. What I mean is, when I first started to check out Malaysian jazz, I was like, what is Malaysian jazz? I mean, besides that time, I think I was thinking, when growing up, I was thinking, okay, so there's Sheila Majid, and then there's all the jazz musicians that play for Sheila Majid, and then later on I discovered that early on in the history of Malaysia, we're talking about during the forming of RTM, a lot of the musicians, they were playing jazz and all versions of songs in jazz, especially the big band stuff. If you go listen to old RTM recordings, anyone who collects vinyl and finds the old stuff from the 60s and 70s, you're going to hear so much jazz there. We actually have a legacy of jazz in the country that I feel perhaps there's been a gap, like when I went to college, it was like 1998 when I was studying here in Kuala Lumpur, and I was studying with Uyao Jin, who wrote a lot of stuff and worked with TV3 and worked with Sudirman and worked with Piramli. But interestingly enough, when I studied with him, he taught me basic keyboard. I was the worst student, second worst. Anyways, but the point is that I was in a music college and I didn't learn any Malaysian songs. I still had to play Setidol, I had to play on the sunny side of the street and all these well-known songs. But it was much later on that I think I want to thank one person in particular, Paul Agustin. He's the festival director for the Penang Island Jazz Festival. At some point, he actually told me to check out Jimmy Boyle, which is what I mentioned during just now. And I think from that, you listen to Soriano, you listen to Jimmy Boyle, you listen to all those people around that time. And another thing I discovered was actually Malaysia and Berklee College of Music there's strong ties. The early part, people went to study at Berklee to get that exchange of knowledge here. So there's also a kind of connection with that.
And I think the setting of RTM,
yes,
they invited Charlie Mariano.
Charlie Mariano is here.
Yeah. So over here, he learned something and brought back.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
as well.
Yeah. And I think that the thing is, so much of what I would consider Malaysian jazz is because Malaysian music, if you listen to Piramli and all that, he was always taking Latin music, taking Middle Eastern music. There was no barrier in terms of style. If you listen to the film music of that time, or even other composers, contemporaries of that time. Back in the day, obviously you don't have Spotify and all that, so records were a commodity. So when records came in from Singapore or from Penang, all the port towns, those records influenced all the musicians. And I think when we just talk about Malaysian jazz, I would say the simplest. It's a kind of feeling to me. If you listen to it, it's not necessarily the harmony, but there's a kind of feeling to it. You know that, and I think the first time I discovered that was I was playing in the UK, performing at this pub. So I'm playing guitar and jiwa, right? All British audience, and I'm playing instrumental. So there's no even Malay words. There's no Malay words. And then after that, they come to talk to me about that one song. They said they can tell that it's not American jazz, and I'm just I don't know how you know, but I'm happy you told me because I know there's something there. So So yeah, that's
something that is cham cham.
Cham
Even
cham.
the beginning of jazz from New Orleans,
Yeah.
this port that has all these people from all over the world, Latin America, Africa, European, and even some Chinese. So in New Orleans, they have this people called Creole. Creole is very much like Baba Yoyama. So this kind of mixture of culture gives birth to jazz. And jazz is such an inclusive music that you just take anything that is useful, anything that is exciting, that is interesting, and just like an amoeba, and just swallow everything and become this thing. You know, from the beginning of jazz, if we listen to songs from the 1920s and you compare to today's jazz, sounds like very different things. You're sure that these are the same thing. These are all under this umbrella called jazz. But it is. Really, jazz is such a keep on evolving kind of music, and it just always inclusive, always taking the good stuff, which I think it's an ideal for our country, I think. Because our country is such a cham-cham country too. If the power to be know how to utilize or capitalize on all these talents of different walks of life, people from different culture and background, we could be a very jazzy country. And I do feel that, you know, jazz should be the national music of Malaysia because of its, you know, its ideal, its inclusivity, of its, you know, diversity. And it's not afraid of taking in things that at first sound foreign. But if that influence can contribute to the enjoyment of this music, why not? So in a way, I would like to define, you know, jazz music as a cham-cham thing. So Malaysian jazz is definitely very cham-cham. So that's what we have been trying to do since morning. So if you are here, you know, you listen to all these Hokkien song but pair with American movie music, or you know, a Chinese song paired with a Malay song. I think that's our strength. If you agree, please clap. I know, because I try to become an MC, man. MC always start. Everybody, let's give a round of applause, and then they keep on wishing for that applause. So I'm practicing. Thank you very much.
I tell you, actually secretly all jazz musicians, they want to be actually stand-up comedians. So, you know, we all have to find something that pays the bills, right? So the question is, one thing I always get this question, you know, which is, does it have to have traditional music elements for it to be considered Malaysian jazz? What do you think?
Okay, so I think I learned a lot along the way in my musical journey. So one of the kind of epiphany happened when I had the honor to join this band organized by Japanese. So from 2008 to 2013, I was in this band called Unit Asia, and it's actually supported by Japanese taxpayers' money. And as a band, we get to tour all over the world. At first we toured Southeast Asia, then we went to Europe, we went to Egypt, India, and all these places. So at first, you know, I actually asked the question to my manager, like, you know, why jazz? You know, like Japanese, or why don't send a no-theater group, or maybe a kabuki theater group, or maybe some traditional Japanese music? Well, what's the reason? Even like include a Malaysian in this Japanese group, and also my fellow musicians, a Thai musician. So it's an Asian group. So his answer kind of let me see things in a quite different way. So he said, do Japanese nowadays still wear kimonos every day? everywhere you go. Do Japanese only eat sushi every day? Do Japanese only do a very traditional things? No, it's not. All Japanese are wearing jeans. They are eating hamburgers, and their fried chicken is so good until KFC cannot compete. Things like that. But do they started eating, karaage back in the days? Not really. All these things are evolving. So for him, he sees it as jazz is like a wisdom, a way of playing music that is so good, just like democracy, just like philosophy. We don't really say, Plato, that Greek guy, I don't want to listen to him, he is not Malaysian. Or Confucius, Gina, things like that. No, not really. Because we learn what is good. What comes out from all this human race experience. So jazz is one of them. Jazz is something that's so good that he thinks Japanese spend a lot of time learning how to talk that language, play the music, and it has already become a part of Japanese culture, which is true actually. A lot of the pop music that we hear nowadays of Japanese music, especially from the 80s, nowadays city pop come up again. It's very jazzy. And all this anime music, or cowboy bebop, all these music are very jazzy. They already take it and make it their own, and belongs to this thing called Earthlings, this world village. A villager in this world is not just about very Malaysian only. So do we need traditional Malaysian music in our jazz in order to call it Malaysian jazz? For me, yes, maybe sometimes. Or we just put some curry powder in there. We just put some, salted egg powder in there. Maybe, but it's not necessary, I guess. That's my answer.
I would agree with that, because sometimes when you try to put something, you force something in, you try to you must have put gambus in, then you put gamelan in, and you put all these things in, and sometimes it doesn't really gel. It's like me trying to put. I'm horrible at choosing what to put in food in general, so anything I put will be wrong.
But usually that's also, it plays its purpose.
Yeah.
I would always call that a TV station weather report music. You have 3 bars of gambus, you have 3 bars of tabla, maybe a little bit of erhu. So yeah, it's for...
It's 36 Celsius in Kuala Lumpur today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I gotta say one thing when I went to US, right, when I went to Berkeley in Boston, I realized that the benefit of growing up in Malaysia is I was so used to hearing all sorts of music. Because I live in Bangsa, so I'm very near Brickfields, right, and then there's a Temple of Fine Arts. So it's like, I'm so used to hearing Indian music, Tamil music, Indian music, traditional music, Carnatic. I'm used to hearing Chinese music during celebrations. I'm used to hearing lion dance. And then I hang out with my American friends and they're all it's kind of, there are a lot of subcultures, but Malaysia is so rich. I was so used to it. I thought one of the weirdest points when I was in Berkeley, right, I was tutoring. And one was, I was teaching jazz to this African American student. I was like, this is a bit weird. I'm from Malaysia, I'm teaching jazz harmony to this guy. And then, true story, bro. Source, trust me, bro. And then, no, everyone's holding it. Okay, cool. So, and then I remember, what was it? I was teaching a student from India. Actually, I was teaching South Indian Carnatic solfege because I was just teaching rhythm I'm not pronouncing it properly, but I was teaching that, and I was just to me, it wasn't a weird thing because I grew up in Malaysia. This is all the sound that I heard. And then one more story was, I was playing a Malaysian event. And I was playing with a friend of mine, very, very good violinist. I won't mention the name because it's a bit embarrassing. Anyway, a very, very good violinist. And I played with my friend Roshan, who was a bass player. So the rest of the band, the trio is Malaysian, but the violinist is not Malaysian. Then I said, we recorded a demo to play, to audition for this kind of world music, Malaysian, whatever, like, we tried to play at the Berkeley Performance Center. Then I asked my friend Roseanne, how the demo okay? And my Roseanne said, too in tune. Because the violin was so in tune, it wasn't quite Melayu. Of course, the sophisticated term is it doesn't have the subtle microtonal inflections that is inherent in Malay music to get that kind of vocal quality. But Roseanne said, I was too in tune. So I mean, point is Malaysia is quite cool. Southeast Asia, I think if you grow up here, right, it's like this. You get to hear a lot of different kinds of music, and that informs you. As you become a musician, you can take a lot of different kinds of gigs. It's not a weird thing to hear this stuff.
Okay, let's move on. So playing jazz is not about I'm the best in this world, so I'm the best jazz player. Rather, I might not be the best, but I try to be as best as possible, and I contribute to the sound of music. We have a goal to sound good. So let's say a bass player comes in, he's not going to be the best bass player.
At least no one you hire
and slap all the time, like see how cool I am. But rather he's doing his job. He's supporting the band, even though a lot of time nobody knows that he's there. Really, bass player always got bass one man, the one not guitarist.
All the time.
All the time. But if you say, okay, go play, and then everybody will feel something, the music don't sound right, or very not good, even though the drummer can be like, but without bass, you just don't sound good. So a lot of the time, I do think that in where we are living here, and each of us have some kind of talent that we can contribute. But we also have to know that we don't overstep a lot of time. So jazz, why play jazz? It just taught me a lot of things. And this kind of thing also informed the way I play. So I know that as a band leader, sometimes I just need to step up. I just have to really do a lot of circus kind of playing, so that everybody, wow! And then, but it's when it's my time to shut up, I will really shut up. Or I am not I'm band leader, so I should speak all the time. So it's the kind of relationship, the kind of interaction, the kind of way of making music together. We all serve the music, not serve ego. So that's my take in playing this music.
I started off playing Irama, to be honest. I was into French music, and the reason was my friends were playing Irama, and I actually was a hip hop kid lah. I was like 90s hip hop, in Malaysia it would be like Crash Course and like For You to See and then KRU, and then I got into all the stuff that I can't believe my dad bought me, Snoop Doggy Dogg, Warren G, all this 90s stuff, and I was listening to R&B like Shy and Jodeci and all that. And then I discovered guitar. And I discovered Nirvana, and I was like, how come the sound not so polished like R&B? Because R&B very sweet sounding, sounds very nice, right? You listen to it, everything's a production. Suddenly like, I was like, what's this? How come not nice, man? But my friends were all playing, so you have to fit in, right? And anyway, I got into guitar, then eventually I played classical guitar, and then I found out about jazz. And my first impression is, you can make stuff up. I said, this is perfect, I don't have to remember anything. I was like, alright, I don't remember anything. And so yeah, my manager can verify. That's why I have a set list. So then I discovered, you can make stuff up. But no one told me how much stuff you have to remember and be able to do in order to make stuff up. And then I discovered that, it means that classical music, you get score, you get a part. As long as in general, 99, MPO will be 98.9% of the time you're playing exactly the score. As long as the soft parts, maybe the conductor cannot hear. Or everyone play at the same time, maybe they cannot hear. But most of the time you have to play exactly correct. Jazz, you play the wrong note, You change, you go somewhere else. The only one that will know is your manager. That's why you practice so many times. So only one person. And maybe one super fan that follow every single YouTube video you do. Bang. Kenapa bang tukar chord tu bang? Selalu di flat major 7. Kenapa sekarang di major 7? Tu salah lah tu. No. It's jazz. So I was really attracted to being able to improvise and talking about, picking up from where Cher Siang said, so much of jazz is actually not playing, it's about listening. Because you have to listen. If someone plays a lot, you have to play less, in theory lah. Unless you hire the wrong musician, they play too much. But in general, we both hire the right people, so they all play very musical. And Cher Siang has hired an entire lineup of cool people today, so it's really good. So the point is that it's from listening, and then there's conversation. Classical music is about being directed by especially large ensemble or orchestra, it's being directed by a vision from the conductor that is shaping the entire ensemble. You're working as a unit with direction. Jazz, he might call himself the band leader, but the bass player might go somewhere, play something else. Then, if you get a good band, everyone's gonna follow them. That's the exciting part. If you come to another show, I do the same set, right? It's not gonna be the same. Some of the jokes I might repeat. The melody maybe, but it's gonna be a different experience. That's what I like about jazz.
Right. So, thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. If only you can see it.
So far, anything that from the floor, anything you want to say or
Question.
no one? Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Next.
So I guess this is the thing, Cher Siang, because we're Malaysian, right? And I was wondering about you, what are the challenges for you learning a style of music that really originated from the US? It's not local music, and it probably came into your life much later on. So what were your challenges?
So back in the days, this is pre-internet age. I grew up in that age. So the challenges was to find the CDs to listen to the music. So at first, you save pocket money lah, or about a month I can buy one CD. But because I went through such hardship to get that CD, I really lick it clean. Listen to it again and again and again. Really, like until I can sing with it. So that's maybe the challenge, but at the same time, I think I count it my blessing. Because you cherish it so much that you just spend the time to know it. So that's one first thing. Second thing is, of course, really, like a lot of time, jazz. At first, when I was interested in this music, and then in where I was growing up, in Malacca, there were some musicians. Usually they are from the Portuguese settlement. So I would ask them, uncle, how do you play jazz? At first, the answer was, if your skin is darker, you can play jazz. That's politically incorrect, but also actually factually incorrect. So later on only I found that, actually you can, especially for me, I was quite lousy as a kid in terms of listening to music, like recognizing sound and all that. I took piano lesson for many, many years. But it was because my dad said, you started something, you better finish it. And being a very good son, I followed through. So every year I would take exams. 1 year learn 3 songs, you play, go in, play, and then pass. Okay, grade 2, grade 3. But I didn't feel the music at all because of my ear. My ear was lousy. But then later on only started to realize that all this training and this made me have a little bit of knowledge about music. And when I hear jazz, I was floored. I was like, this music, you can just make things up. You don't have to learn the 3 songs, but rather you just make things up. I was really intrigued by that idea. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to make things up. Then only I find out that you can actually learn theories to raise my hearing ability. Then slowly, from learning, from practicing, from playing, I get better and better. And also the thing about, you guys are not African American. You know, you don't grow up with blues in your blood. How can you play jazz? For us, I think we try our best to decode what's in that music and slowly find, okay, that's what makes sense. So we try to play like that. But another epiphany, today is a talk with a lot of epiphanies. Then I came to a point that I wasn't sure, you know, however so-called good I can play blues, still somehow the flavor, the identity, the blood is not there. Then I read an interview by this Norwegian saxophone player by the name of Jan Gabarek. He was talking about the same thing. So he was talking about, you know, he can play blues, no problem. But when listen to John Coltrane play blues, what am I doing? Mine is green, not even blue.
It's blue and green.
So then he was thinking about how to attack that question. So then he looked back into his own culture, which is the Scandinavian kind of folk song kind of thing. So ever since he made music that really, if you listen to him play saxophone, you know this guy is from a very cold country. His sound is very cold. Or even you play the music, suddenly you don't have to put on aircon. Things like that. Which to me is like, wow, I see, you know, another path now. So when I think back to myself, what do I know? Okay, songs that I was forced to listen because when my mom cooking, she will blast the radio. So the radio will be playing like all these Chinese old songs. When I was young, it was like, all these like really bouncy, you know, old music. But I can't help but become part of me. And when I know music more, when I think back of those songs, I can see the relationship it has with a lot of jazz standards. And how can I make music using this material and also using this Malaysianness that we grew up with. You know, we are not shy about suddenly throwing an R&B scale or things like that. I'm slightly closer to blues, a little bit of green still, but there's blues. Sometimes overshoot become purple.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like a lot of kinds of music, a lot of different kinds of music. I always tell the story that in an alternate reality, I probably would be a singer-songwriter, to be honest. Because I listen to so much American singer-songwriter folk music. And in fact, I've told this story so many times at shows. My manager finally told me like, you always say you want to be singer-songwriter, why don't you be singer-songwriter? So I think last week I actually wrote a song, I recorded it, and I was, you know, like strumming acoustic guitar, you know, like depressing singer-songwriter at the open mic. So I wrote a song, it's really depressing, I recorded it, I listened back to it, I won't let you listen to it. But I guess the point is the fact that as a musician, especially if you're a jazz musician, part of the journey to find your sound is to experiment and to grow. I love blues. I listen to like Robert Johnson, I listen to like, you know, Bill Bronzy, I listen to like B.B. King, I listen to the Chicago Blues, I listen to that. I went to the Blues Festival at KLPEC. You know, I listen to all this stuff. And I think, okay, this one is a bit of an educational rant. Most of the time, if you go buy a book that teaches you how to play the blues, most of the books are teaching you wrong. But the books I'm selling today are all very good. But in general, a lot of the stuff, and this is the challenge, you go to the book, you say, so this is for musicians, I'm very geeky, A7, play A minor pentatonic, blues. It's not quite that. It's not just play those notes, you sound jazz. It's like the little inflections. You have to bend the C natural over the C sharp a little bit. You have to, you know, there's some notes that have to be out of tune in order for it to be blues. And even if you play all the out of tune notes at the right spot, if it's not phrased properly, it doesn't sound like the blues. Which is why you like B.B. King, but you don't like my blues, you know? So it's because when you learn this style of music, over time you refine it. Unless you happen to be born in that culture, where your uncle is a blues guitarist, your cousin is John Mayer, you grow up in front of the shop, they sell slide guitars, So unless you're that fortunate, right, it's very unlikely for you to get everything in one go. It's a process of discovery. It's a bit like, you're unraveling and slowly, have anyone in the 80s watched that TV show V? This is how I identify people my age. Okay. So V is basically aliens with human skin. Then they peel off and you realize they're aliens. But I think like jazz musician, it's a very painful process. You kind of peel yourself until you finally realize that, I should have learned Pirampi earlier. I should have learned some Jogate songs. I should have learned all these things. And you realize that, have anyone read The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho? Okay. Everyone else, this is a spoiler. So you want to hear it, close your ears. Anyway, the guy in The Alchemist, he's trying to find something. I don't remember what he's trying to find. He's trying to find something. People always try to find something. That's why you have to use those Apple tags and you always find it. Or you put it in the same place in the house and you always find it. But he was trying to find something. He traveled the world. Like Master, we go to US. The next question, foreshadowing. So he traveled the whole world and he realized the treasure was in his own backyard. Which is, wow, so philosophical. Huh?
But it's better than never travel. Then just go out the door, found your treasure. What the hell? Then,
oh my God.
The treasure not so nice lah.
Yeah, you basically have to go all over the world and you realize that it was here all along.
But you come back a fuller person.
A fuller person. It's because you ate a lot of food. So anyway, but the point is, it's kind of a journey, it's kind of a process. Related to that, okay. So you go to US, wow, so fast. Okay. What do you learn, Jazz Siang? Because you in Malaysia, you're already playing music, then you go US. I mean, I went to US as well. What do you learn there that maybe shaped you to be a jazz musician or better jazz musician?
Okay. First thing, I do think that we have to keep doing. So we have the books. We have the books and whatnot. We study. But it's always about the doing. Take action. Go and play. Shamelessly go and bag some cafe. Let me play here.
That's
I
what
don't
you
need
did.
money. That's what I did really. So carry my keyboard with and walk through the snow to get to that cafe so that I can play. Even though I play now, think back, maybe my play was lousy, really not so good. But somehow, I get to play, and I get to learn that way. Or sometimes, I always look at the audience faces. Or some like, then I feel, okay, maybe I'm doing something right. Somebody will that's okay, something may be wrong. So from there, I learn to, some point, become a better self. And then, of course, through the process, I become more and more kind of not afraid of playing. Because only through playing with others, only through playing in front of audience, you learn what's the so-called better version of you. Or else, always practice. I don't play until I'm the best. I don't think you will ever reach there.
Yeah, you won't have a show.
Yeah, sure. And also how to deal with, venue owners, how to deal with, always about, take that initiative, initiate stuff. So that's what I learned, biggest lesson in my life. And also about actually, we see America, we thought that America must be like happening, all the musicians, Charlie Martin, no problem. Isn't it? Like Taylor Swift, her tour make money more than some third world country, GDP. Must be happening. But actually not really also. Because in America, I also can see many people are actually so-called struggling. But at the same time, there are a lot of people playing music, playing an instrument. So I guess they actually appreciate music at a high level. Because in their high school, they learn how to play, let's say, learn to play trombone. And it's not easy to play. Trombone that hard.
Yeah.
So they try, and then they suck at it. But then when you hear somebody play well, they're like, hey, that guy is something. Then maybe he will go and listen to music. So So that's something also I thought, I can bring back here. The more we play, the more we do these things, maybe more Malaysians will, get to or appreciate music a little bit more, and then slowly we build that scene up, and then hopefully one day we will have our superstar. So I don't think superstar is something that is created out of thin air, but rather it's something that has to take community and to take higher level of musicianship and then build up that real thing, real star. So I think that's something that I brought back.
Yeah, I gotta say, I feel very, very grateful and fortunate that my parents were very, very supportive of me doing music. My dad's a writer and my mom's a journalist, and they were very much okay with me doing music. Very unusual, right? Like, do music. Like, it's so weird. But because of that, when I was in the US, when I was in Berkeley, for example, right, it's just, when you're in your town, right, you think you're like awesome, and then you go there, everyone will think they're awesome, everyone at the same place. So it's like, in Berkeley, during my time, there was like 5,000 students in the campus. 1,000 are guitar players. You quickly realize whether you're good at anything at all. It gives you perspective. So that's one thing. And the other thing was in Berkeley, I just studied with a lot of my favorite teachers. People that I've been reading their books, I've been watching videos, I've heard stories about them. And you get to study with them. Then you realize they're actually normal human beings as well. I mean, they play like 1,000 times better than me, but they're very nice, they tell bad jokes, they speak right in your face, like, so. And the other thing was, that was in Berkeley, but when I was in California, also I moved to Berkeley, California, completely different place, different spelling. It was so much of the opportunities I got there from performing, from gigging, it's all about community. You do a show, you meet someone, and then someone sees you, hires you for another gig. And I got opportunities like, I played in a cumbia dub band called Candelaria from Oakland. I played in a gypsy jazz band called Jazz Mind in Solano Avenue in North Berkeley. I played in like kind of an orchestra setting. I played solo guitar, I played jazz guitar, I played Brazilian guitar at a Brazilian, it's like nasi campur but Brazilian, all this like Brazilian food and stuff. I played jazz music at a Chinese restaurant, gypsy jazz at a Chinese restaurant. So I got all these opportunities and I got to perform and I got to record. So I think what I realized when I come back here is that a lot of times in order to grow your music or your community, I believe in grassroots movements, meaning that Cher Siang wants a festival, he finds a way to build a festival. And of course, we're grateful that all of you are here, but in order to start things, I believe that you just have to start doing it at kind of version 0. It's very startup culture. Just do some basic version of it. And jazz is like that. You do a basic version of it, you sound horrible, all your friends will tell you sound good, they're all lying, but you start and you grow and you grow and you grow and you grow. And seeing how it was like in the US, to be really honest with you guys, we actually have an amazing scene here. It's smaller, but we have amazing musicians. Many that you will watch here today. I keep telling everyone about the festival. I said, we have such a wonderful lineup today because these are people that are gigging regularly, they're performing regularly, they're teaching your friends, your cousins, your nephews. These are people who are active in the scene. So, if you're here today, I want to become an MC like Jazz Guitar. Please give yourselves a round of applause. I also learned from you. I got the clap thing.
But that was lukewarm, not as good as mine just
That's why I want to be a stand-up comedian, but he wants to be the MC, so he has to be better.
Okay. That's all for our talk today. I think, we enjoy talking, as you can see. But any questions, we can address one, and then we will move on to the next one. Next performance. Any? No?
No.
I know. Yes, sir.
How do you get inspiration from your composing music?
Ooh, inspiration. Huh? Okay. To me, I'm a reader. I love to read. So I learn a lot from writers. And all these writers that I like, they always say the same thing. Inspiration is not something that it just comes out of nowhere, but rather it's the work It's work that you keep doing. So one of the writers that I really like, Haruki Murakami, his working ethic is every day, wake up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, sit in front of the table. Even if not one word come out, he won't do other things. He won't go and play Candy Crush, won't go and do other things. Rather, he just sit there and really do it. Okay? So, to me, that's the ideal. That's the highest ideal. For me, I'm lousy. I'm not so disciplined, but still, if I have any idea that just popped in my mind, I will have to write it down. So I keep a portfolio of all these pieces of paper. Sometimes it's tissue paper, sometimes it's really nice manuscript, and things like that. And it's always these pieces of ideas, or maybe a bass line, maybe a few chords, maybe a melody, maybe just a rhythm. Then I just compile them, put them aside. Then I will work on them. Then slowly they become something. Maybe not the best, but still something. That's how I work, so-called inspiration. So to me, I don't believe, or rather, I don't have the genius of inspiration hit, but rather it's always day-to-day kind of thing, and try to find magic from daily routine. That's what I believe in.
Because I'm an educator, I have a very clear answer to how I approach this. I do it two ways, basically, for composing or anything in general. One is, I would say, I do things over a long period of time and develop it. So maybe I'm working on, this is very specific, I'm working on a dominant pentatonic 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, that's 7 root. That's literally something I'm working on right now. So I've been working on that for a long time, trying to get it better, flowing and stuff. And the other thing is like what you said, the daily thing. So recently, I've been writing poetry. Like I said, I've been going where the money is. So I started writing poetry every single day. And I'm on day 41. I'm behind by 2 days. I think I'm trying to write 50 poems. And that's the same kind of process that I do when I write music. I just try to write a little bit every day. Most of it I'll forget, but some of it will stay. And if talking about pure inspiration, it's usually people I meet. So maybe we'll have a conversation after this, we take a selfie, you tell me a really bad joke, even worse than mine, and we become best friends. Maybe I'll write a song about you. I have a song for a friend of mine in Taiwan. Song for Wiko. Wiko Wang is an amazing session player, really good. I wrote a song for him. It's on Spotify. I sent to him. A bit awkward, right? You write a song for a dude in Taiwan. But I like his playing so much. He's such a good guitar player. See, my girlfriend like, you write a song for a session guitarist in Taiwan you met once. What's this? I write songs for friends and stuff like that. So I find that people and places and experiences, if you're talking about pure inspiration, that's where it comes from for me. Otherwise, it's work on something for a long time, or just wake up and show up and do the work. My dad writes, he used to write every single day, and he's like 92. And you just show up and you do the work. So I've never been under the impression that there's divine inspiration to make art. I think there are people that are talented or gifted, but I'm not one of those people. So I just show up to work. So yeah,
that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Asama.
Tay Cher Siang.
And for the next program, we are about to start soon.